queen of his gas machine. She has his heart in a whirl. Now when they go for a spin, you know, she tries to learn the auto, so he lets her steer while he gets her ear and whispers soft and low. Come away with me, Lucille, in my merry Oldsmobile. Down the road of life we'll fly, automobile bling, you and I. To the church we'll swiftly.
The expression, "the devil is in the details," can certainly be applied to the snapshot accompanying this video. It could have been the basis for a Norman Rockwell painting. Town folks on a sunny summer afternoon in front of the local drugstore admiring Old Scout. These are the details. In 1901, Oldsmobile introduced what they called a curved dash automobile to the American public. The name was adopted because of the unique bobsled-like shape of the footboard. Olds built 425 of these cars that year, making them the first mass-produced gasoline engine autos on the planet. Powered by a single-cylinder gasoline engine capable of turning a marvelous 500 RPM, it was said to emit 1 chug per telegraph pole as it tooled down the highway, such as highways were at the time, at 20 miles per hour. The auto cost $650, and one could add fenders for $25 and wooden spoke wheels, instead of bicycle-type wire wheels, for another $25. It quickly became the most popular car of that era. By 1903, Olds was producing more units than any other auto manufacturer in the nation. My first impression, when I saw this photograph, was that it might have been taken in 1937 during Vermilion, Ohio's centennial celebration. But after some investigation, I found that I was, as I am more often than I find preferable, wrong. This snap was most likely taken in 1931, when a pioneer automobilist named Dwight Brainerd Huss was passing through Vermilion. He was repeating a New York to Oregon drive he had taken 26 years earlier. He was piloting a 4.5 horsepower Olds curved dash runabout, affectionately named Old Scout. In 1906, Mr. Huss and his mechanic and relief driver, Milford Wiggle, had driven this Old Scout Oldsmobile to victory in the very first U.S. transcontinental auto race. Professionally, Huss was a chauffeur, or engineer as they used to refer to them, for F. Ed Spooner, a photographer-reporter for the New York Globe and commercial advertiser. The race was sponsored by the National Good Roads Convention. It took them over muddy cattle paths, rough mountain trails, and dirt roads from New York City to Portland, Oregon in 44 days. In his account of the journey, Huss wrote, "We rode in mud up to the hubs at times, and I have seen the wheels many times with so much gumbo sticking to them that they would weigh 250 to 300 pounds each. The prize was $1,000. Believe it or not, that would amount to about $35,000 today. The second trip was a bit easier. Though the auto was equipped exactly as it had been 26 years earlier, the National Good Roads Convention that had sponsored the first journey had apparently achieved its purpose by then. This time all the roads were hard-surfaced, and there were service stations on nearly every corner. It was estimated that nearly 10 million people got to inspect Old Scout, the amazing Oldsmobile runabout. And folks in Vermilion were among them. While the focus of the snapshot was obviously the automobiles, I find some of the other details in it to be equally interesting. On the upper right face of the drugstore is a sign advertising the schedules for various village church services. Making changes to that sign while hanging off a ladder must have provided quite a spiritual experience in itself. Also of interest are the electric interurban railroad tracks running down the street that are visible in the foreground. Before a decade would pass, the rails would be removed. The automobile would become king, and the days of Ohio's interurban known as the Lakeshore Electric Railway, arguably the greatest transportation system in the world, would be forever gone. It may be that the devil is in the details. That expression, I find, was actually derived from another expression. God is in the detail, meaning that details are important. And so they are, both today and in the yesteryear. Special thanks to Brenda Baumhart-Mez, Baumhart Family Photo Collection. This article was published in the Vermilion Photojournal newspaper on February 5, 2015. Well, that's all for this week. Stay close and stay tuned for another story of our yesteryear next week.
Will be